Yoga opens up differently to different people. As we do the sadhana, it opens up differently. It's in Mundaka Upanishad, it is there. Atharva Rishi, he approached Brahma and asked the question, having known which everything is known, what is that one? And it's what is that knowledge? And Brahma responds that in the same parampara, it's many rishis talk about that one. And when the Atharvana Rishi asked that one, he says there are two knowledges. It's a knowledge that having known which everything is known. One is Apara Vidya and one is Para Vidya. And text is the same, but for both, Apara means inferior knowledge, Para means superior knowledge. For both, the text is the same. What is the text? Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, Atharvana Vedaha, Shiksha, Vyakarana, Nirukta, Chanda iti. It's a Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, Atharvana Veda, Shiksha, phonetics, grammar, and root, how it arrived. This whatever Nirukta, it's the same text. It's used for, it's Apara Vidya, inferior knowledge, as well as the superior knowledge. And for the same text, it gives it's a material science as well as spiritual science. And I teach yoga in Vidyapitas, Gurukuls, and primary school students, middle school students, higher school students, university students, they use the same text. Unlike in our curriculum, every year our teacher asks us to buy a new textbook, and it's an old one, you check it out and buy a new one. And whereas the traditional one, use the same text and start looking at the same text differently. When you start looking the same text differently, new revelations opens up. And for example, for yoga, the term of yoga means general meaning of yoga means prapti, what you don't have. Acquiring something is called as yoga. And generally now we say, I'm going to yoga class. It connotes that I'm going to do asana. I don't have flexibility, I don't have good health. I am going there to acquire flexibility, acquire good health. That is yoga. That's from the physiological point. And as we delve deep into that one, then we realize that it has an effect on our mind also. And yoga, that in Vishnu Purana, it says it's a yoga ityabhidiyate. What is yoga? Yoga is tasyaha brahmani samyogaha yogaha vityabhidiyate. Constantly thinking of higher ideals in our life, higher things in our life. Now mind is tuned. Earlier I went there for physical flexibility. Now mind can grasp finer, subtler things in my life. I can constantly, I'm thinking on higher things in my life. Mind is tuned now. It's a yoga. Now it's in the mental level. Yoga happens in the mental level. And as I progress further in the Patanjali in the Yoga Sutra, he talks about Unmani Bhav. Unmani Bhav, it's when you start thinking on the higher things, sometimes mind get absorbed in that one. It's you don't feel like coming back. You get merged in that thought, Unmani Bhav, that you are not aware of the external objects. That is Unmani Bhav. It's a yoga, opens up further. Yoga means in the physical level, in the mental level, it's a Tatsyaha Brahmani Samyogaha. And third one is Unmani Bhav. And Rigveda says another one, that another yoga is called as Sahayoga. Sahayoga means Sayujya Yoga, that acquiring the moksha. We don't have everlasting happiness, we have glimpse of happiness, glimpse of bliss. Having the eternal bliss, that is moksha. Acquiring the eternal bliss, it is called as another dimension of yoga. Yoga, that as the same text, we start with asana in the physiological level, and slowly psychological level, slowly spiritual level, and further acquiring the Sahyog. Sahyog is Sayujya Yoga, that it's acquiring the moksha. It's yoga opens up as we progress. Same text opens differently. And we have been learning Bhagavad Gita, that from the second chapter. And last week we saw is Arjuna, that he had a mental trauma, that he collapsed, and he started shaking, and tears started rolling from his eyes, and he got totally confused, and he told Arjuna, Sri Krishna, that I don't know whether they should win us or I should win. It's how can I fight with my teacher? How can I fight with my relatives, uncles, grandfather? Is it not a sin? It's even the heavenly bliss, I don't see any pleasure. Even the Indra Padavi, Swargaloka in charge, if I get that one, I feel it is filled with pain, and I can't fight Krishna. And he kept quiet. And what Krishna does, we'll see that one. We'll try to bring the Bhagavad Gita, that in the morning learning Bhagavad Gita, it's a yoga, it's a Adhara scripture, and try to learn the tunes. Sanjay Uvacha Tam Tata Kripaya Vishta Ashru Purna Kulekshanam Vishidanta Idam Vakyam Uvacha Madhusudanaha Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Kutastva Kashmalamidam Vishame Samupasthitam Anarya Justa Asvargyam Akirti Karamarjuna Klaibyam Asmagama Partha Naitat Tayyupapadyate Kshudram Hridaya Dhaurbalyam Tyaktvo Uttishta Parantapa Arjuna Vacha Katham Bhishma Aham Sankhe Dronancha Madhusudana Ishubhik Pratiyotsyami Pujarha Arisudana Guruna Hatva Hi Mahanubhavan Shreyo Bhonktu Vaikshwamapi Haloke Hatvartha Kamanstu Guru Nihaiva Bunjiya Bhoga Rudira Pradigdhan Nachaita Dvidma Kataran Nagariyo Yadva Jayema Yadivano Jayeyuhu Yanena Hatvana Jijivishamaha Stevastitha Pramukhe Datra Rashtraha Karpanya Dosha Pahata Swabhavaha Pruchami Tvam Dharma Asammuda Chetaha Yachreyasya Nishchitam Bruhi Tanme Shishyasteham Shadimam Tvam Prapannam Nahi Prapashyami Samanupadyat यच्चोकमुच्चोषणमिन्द्रियाणाम् अवाप्य भूमावासपद्मवृद्धम् राज्यं सुराणामपि चाधिपत्यम् संजय उवाच एवमुक्त्वा हृषीकेशं गुडाकेशः परन्तप न योत्स्य इति गोविन्द उक्त्वा तूष्णी बभूवः. He says, Krishna, I can't fight. And he became silent. Arjuna became silent. And he put forward his arguments and he says, Krishna, sorry, I can't fight. And Sri Krishna takes on now. Before that, Arjuna says, I am your disciple. Please enlighten me. That he didn't say to Krishna that you are my guru, teach. He says, I am subordinate to you. Guide me. He says, from there, Sri Krishna takes over. That if we need any knowledge, we have to submit to the teacher. We got to submit. If you don't submit, knowledge won't come. That it won't inspire the teacher to speak about that one. And he submitted to Sri Krishna, I am your disciple, please guide me. And तमुवाच हृषीकेश प्रहसन्निव भारत सेनयोरुभयोर्मध्ये विषीदन्त इदं वचः. It was a very serious event. It's the middle of the battlefield. Everyone is under terrible stress. Whereas Krishna Tamuvacha Hrishikesha Prahasanniva Bharata. He is smiling, happily smiling, that no tension at all, no confusion at all. He is very relaxed, composed, and he is smiling. That in the Mahabharata, if you see, it's a ever smiling enchanter that never get agitated, stressed. That Krishna, that as if he is smiling, he talks about this one in the middle of the battlefield. And it gives a Senayor Ubayor Madhya. It says that Sri Krishna brought the chariot in between the Kauravas and Pandavas. In our life also, it's a message to analyze things. Come to the center. Don't take one partiality from one side. If you looking the things from one side, you can't see the true picture. Come to the center. Senayor Ubayor Madhye Ratham Sthapaya Mechyuta. That between that one, here also it says, it's Senayor Ubhayor Madhye Vishidanta Idam Vachaha. He came in between for our life also to analyze yoga. Yoga means come to the center, not to be driven out by the Ida Nadi or Pingala Nadi, not by its emotional thing or intellectual approach. Come to the center and start analyzing. That if you come to the center, you start understanding the Bhagavad Gita. That not from one side, it's in our life also, it's a message. Come to the center. Not from one extreme, don't talk, not from this angle. Come to the center, talk and analyze, reflect. Truth will start revealing in you. It's the message. Sri Krishna then takes over. As if smiling, he is guiding us.